Hello there, guys, and welcome to Daily Updates. Um, hope everybody's well as we continue checking out the counting and the results. In about 20 minutes, IEC will be doing a media briefing on the results that are coming in as time goes. And currently, this is what we have as the results of the national results. Pardon me for a second. We Okay, guys. So we currently on 34.49% that has been counted, and ANC is about to break that 2 million mark. And finally, the DA has broken that 1 million. And oh my word, I wasn't checking, and it doesn't look good. I was not keeping track, and the EFF has been overtaken by the MK party. Who would have thought the EFF has been overtaken by MK party? Now this is serious. Zuma, the return of Zuma is proving to be a problem now, as he's taking votes from the ANC and now he's above the EFF. At this point, there will be a lot of seats for Zuma in parliament, and he has just made sure that he's taking votes from many people. So as we look at it now, the ANC remains on 42%. I've said it before, they were up, now they're a bit down, showing that the scale is going up and down. Jacob Zuma is a force. He is number 3 on the National Assembly. The DA remains with that solid 24% and going for 25%. And now it seems like the EFF should be worried, unless the votes that we see here comes from KZN, the ones for MK. But regardless, the EFF should be worried. I think if we look at it, the main concern of the EFF was that they are taking away the second position from the DA, and now it seems like it is becoming a difficult task. Are the EFF going to reach 15% with the introduction of the MK? It cannot be good for the leadership. It cannot be good for EFF. As we look at it, the DA is performing so well considering the decline in the ANC. And I'm sure wherever the ANC, wherever the leaders are, this is a call for a meeting. They must sit down. And as you look at it, the EFF should really hope that the ANC considers them for coalition, because it makes sense to have them for a 50%, as things are not looking good. Things are not looking good for these following parties: the ANC, the EFF, and well, the IFP is doing good, actually. I thought the IFP is coming good. As much as they are slow, they are coming good. But ANC and EFF are becoming the biggest loser here. And the only thing that can happen out of them is for them to work together. At this point, it would not make sense for them to avoid each other. ANC going to 42 and the EFF slightly going above 10% would make sense, because if not, it is a big trouble for them. And one could think that everybody could avoid the ANC and work together, but with egos, it's going to be difficult for all these guys to work together. The only relationship that could make sense would be ANC and EFF here, or EFF or ANC and DA. The many parties that could want to work together would not make a slight chance and would not make a slight sense in terms of looking at how these guys and their manifestos, they don't they don't work together. Imagine the manifesto of ANC and DA, and imagine the manifesto of ANC and MK. It could work, but clash of egos. So let us see how this thing is going by. And surprise, the Patriotic Alliance has crossed the 150 mark. They are getting numbers. And one wonders where the numbers coming from. Are they coming from the DA? Are they coming from the EFF in terms of Dudula, Operation Dudula? This is very interesting. And if you look, the IFP is on 104,000 with the Freedom Front Plus coming along. Last time they were a bit up, but now the reintroduction of Zuma is causing a problem. Not only Zuma, even the Patriotic Alliance, which both of them have taken the position of IFP and Freedom Front Plus from last time. Equals Media says MK and EFF. MK and EFF, in terms of national, it's highly impossible to make anything out of it, because the biggest one they need is the ANC. To be able to govern, you need the ANC. Unless they want to work together with everyone, every percentage, even the 0.2% of the AAR. But as of now, before we even go to the media briefing, which is at in about 14 minutes, Action SA is coming along fine. We expected more. I actually expected them to do the way the PA is doing, but unfortunately, they haven't even hit the 1%. And on the other side, the ACDP 27 still trying, even UDM, there we go, he's going up. Triple C with 18,000, ATM also rising. And there is Raz Mzanzi, slowly but surely coming up, with Bosa hoping to secure at least one seat for their leader, Musi Maimane, as well as Good also trying. There's Al Jama also, and Hope for SA, UAT, ACT. Ace Mahashule is also getting support. That's 7%, 7,491, 0.17%. Would need a lot of work for him to go to parliament. And as we go, there is Cope, APC. Otherwise, the rest of the guys are on 0.0%. But the biggest people are the top three. Actually, not the top three, probably the top 7. It is the ones to look for. Because before we ended the last live stream, the leader here was ANC, followed by DA, and third was the EFF, but they've been overtaken. And it's very serious, as much as it's not a big amount, but to be overtaken by the new kid on the block, it must be a worry for the EFF. Anyway, let us check the following provinces before we go live. Gauteng and the KZN together with Mpumalanga. GP, the first one to check. Let's see how far they are. 23.2%. The ANC is on 33. And they are declining from 34 to 33. And you have the DA increasing votes on 30%. And the EFF remains on third. 11%, which is giving way for the MK party standing at 9%, 9.33%, and followed by Action SA. VF, Patriotic Alliance, is there with 1%, and Rise Mzansi is almost there, 0.93%. IFP, ACDP, Bosa, still down there with 5,000 votes. That is Gauteng, led by ANC. It's official with Gauteng. The DA and EFF, DA, EFF, MK can work together. They can govern Gauteng. They can even ask for a few votes from Action SA and even VF Plus. It will be enough. 30, the 11% of EFF and the 9% of MK, you combine with Action SA plus VF, they can then govern Gauteng, and then it's over for the ANC. There is no way they are going to overturn the lead that they have now. 3% lead. It won't be changed to 40% where they would be comfortable. It won't happen. The ANC is losing votes. Gauteng has decided against giving them another term. Let's also check KZN, where MK was leading. And there is MK. 18% complete, and MK is still standing at 42.70. The IFP coming at 20. Oh, what a surprise. Last time the ANC was second. Now the ANC is standing at 21 at number third. Oh, this is a problem now. This is a big problem now. The ANC is being booted out, and along comes the IFP. And when you go down to check, the DA is steadily coming with a percentage of 8. So if by any chance the MK wants to work with the DA, they can do it in 2 provinces. They can do it in Gauteng. They can do it in the KZN, because the votes of the EFF are not enough for MK to work with the EFF. So in this case, the MK can have a relationship with DA and the EFF. They can do it in Gauteng, and when they are done, they go and do it in KZN. So they will have to share, which gives the opportunity for all of them to say that if the DA declines, and then they can try and work together again in Western Cape, meaning there could be 3 provinces, but in Western Cape, it seems like the DA is still coming out stronger. Let us check, lastly, when speaking about MK, the province of Mpumalanga. And last time when I checked, they were on 18%. And another surprise, the ANC has just gone below 50%. The ANC has just gone below 50% in MP. What another surprise. But let us check if ever there was to take away the province of, still have 8 minutes. The province of, just a second, guys, as I just prepare that live from the IEC. Okay. So as you can see, 18 plus 12 of the EFF plus the 12 of the DA, and then you combine it with the rest, and then you hope that the ANC goes down a bit to 47. Another province lost. Another relationship between MK, EFF, and DA. If these guys are serious about governance, if these guys are serious about putting out the ANC, they have to look at the provinces and not really focus a lot on national. They will deal with national after. If they can be able to work together on these provinces, it is the death of the ANC. Ramaphosa, wherever he is, he must be complaining and worried. He must be worried, because look at the relationship between EFF and MK. Look at the DA and the VF plus coming along. This is the third province that we looked at. Now, we are going to check the Western Cape. At this point, until we go to live stream, we must just check these places where we know for sure that there could be a coalition government. Unfortunately, Western Cape is still a stronghold of the DA. 51% complete, standing at 52%. So here they have a good lead. And lucky to see, good to see that, the Patriotic Alliance is standing at 10%. They were on 9%. They've grown to 10%. Looking at also, looking at the ANC having 19% with 158 votes. And the EFF is coming on the fourth position with 4%. But here, the DA could really say that, well, I don't need to work with you guys. Liko, EFF and ANC must go out. Best commentation skill. Thank you, Chuchugani. As long as ANC can get below 50% nationally, Pasha Tops, I'll be glad. It looks like they are heading to that position, my man. It looks like they are going down. The Western Cape, we shouldn't be worried about them because we shouldn't be speaking about it so much because the DA says that is my province. There was someone asking about certain province. Check EFF in Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape, the ANC is whooping them in Eastern Cape. EFF is on 9%. Okay, another surprise. They're doing well in the Eastern Cape. 66% for the ANC. This will not be overturned. And the DA has 12% and EFF on 9%. What the EFF can really do is to try and go to the second position, removing the DA, if that would be possible. But they still have the UDM most low on that, having 3%. I'm sure Bantu is still hoping to get that premiership, which he's been speaking about. Even PA is more than the ATM. ATM coming from the Eastern Cape. They are failing to remove the PA. Patriotic Alliance is another force that we are actually not paying attention to, but they are coming along so good. Down there, you have PAC having support in Eastern Cape, VF Plus and Action SA coming along nicely. And another province that I think the ANC has lost is the Northern Cape, unless they made magic there because they were almost closer to finishing their votings. The Northern Cape. We have 3 minutes to go. Northern Cape, 86.99. Very interesting. So let us see if that combination of EFF, DA, and MK can work. So they have 47. Definitely they are not going to govern Northern Cape with 87% done. The ANC is out in Northern Cape, but how can they work? 22% is enough for the DA. It's good enough. When you combine it with the EFF, already you have 33. You get the PA, you have 40. And look, VF and CCM, and you just try to get, there is MK, you can also call them in, but that could guarantee these parties to get over 50% and dethrone the ANC. The ANC is in trouble. They should be worried, and whoever the leader of the ANC is going to be accountable. I'm sure even Fikile Mbalula regrets ever insulting or speaking bad about Jacob Zuma because the introduction of MK led to the death of the ANC in many provinces. Let's go, for example, Limpopo. We know that the ANC has a whitewash there in Limpopo. They're still on 71%. And it's just closer to 19% complete of the counts. and the ANC is still strong. So if there's any province that they can be assured, you have the Eastern Cape, and then you have Limpopo. The people of this province love the ANC. They enjoy voting for them. The EFF, this time, they are number 2, 13.11%, with 18% for the DA. Now, this one, there is no need to even speak about coalition. No one is going to be working with anyone because the ANC is comfortable. And you have 2% for the VF Plus, almost there. And then the MK 2000, they are almost breaking that 1%, which is not, it is not good for province, but for national. The 1% they would be getting here would be marvelous. The comments, these parties must come together, the ANC must go. And DK Lady says, EFF stagnation, not moving like we expected. I think we all expected the EFF to do well, but MK really, no one expected MK to do what they're doing now. And also, I think many people really are holding the EFF regarding their stance on open borders and all those things. As much as they try to really speak about it and speak more on it and try to clarify, many people had made their decision by then, because what else would be the reason if you look at MK, we expected them to take votes from ANC, not to get some other votes from the EFF. That is not what we expected. Free State, we did not check that. But I do think we are probably live with the IEC. Let me just check in case they are now briefing. Okay, they are, guys.
If I may ask Asharas, David, can you please assist us in lowering the noise? It's a little bit disruptive, so that we get on with the business of the evening. Tonight I'm joined by the General Manager for Electoral Operations, Mr. Grenville Abrahams. He's going to give us the lowdown of the numbers where we are. We're looking good and better than we think. So Grenville, as we update, we need a little bit of a sweet nane, something that tells us we're almost there. So please come and give us an update, and let's see where we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kate. Members of the media, you've been staring at the boards whole day and seen how they have gradually trickled. And tonight we've seen somewhat of a burst, and we hope that that continues. On the leaderboard, the results that I've made available constitute about 34.5%, as you can see. But I want to announce to you to say where we are now, currently, at 8 p.m., we have 55.65% of the results captured and in the system. Now, the reason why we do not see all of them on the board is because of the fact that our focus is accuracy, and as earlier explained, to achieve accuracy, we have various processes. The first one being the capturing of the result slip as received after being checked, the scanning of the same result slip as an image matched to that capture, and then the auditing thereof. And those processes, with the lags in between it, give rise to the fact that we have 34.5% of the results reflected on the board, but in the system at various stages, we do have 55.65. Now, I think the focus for us, and you would probably, if you did not understand elections, have now received a short course on elections, going through these processes. Starting out, there was the readiness and the preparation, which we kept you informed about. There was special votes for 2 days, and then there was voting day that we all labored through. The total election, all of that activity, including your campaigning and your votes that you've garnered, is now being reduced to results and in the form of a result slip, which is going through this capturing process. I think we also earlier may have mentioned to you, or you may have become accustomed, that in the past, by about this time or an hour from now, we normally said about 24 hours after the close of voting stations, our percentage achieved would have been much higher, closer to 80 and high 80%. Now, we did expect that we would take a bit longer this year, and to that extent, we did share with you in earlier media briefings as a result of that we had planned to have our results announcement on a Sunday, and normally we would have it on a Saturday, but if, however, we do complete in time, that we would still be able to meet that date. So we had made provision for this. Now, what are the factors involved here? What we had envisaged is that in this election, it's the first time that we would have 3 ballots in the metro. Now, you would ask why the metros? There's only 8 metros. All the other municipalities are used to having 3 ballots. First of all, those ballots were shorter. Secondly, the reason why the metros are significant, even though it's only 8 municipalities, as far as the voters' roll population is concerned, the metros constitute more than 55% of all voters. Only 8 municipalities, but 55%. And that is where we also have the current lag as far as the results is concerned. Secondly, as you followed the story throughout the night, a number of our stations where we had queues involved, they closed late, and coupled with that, it had a knock-on effect with counting. We shared with you earlier that we were even counting up until late this morning. Now, I want to make an announcement. First of all, 2 things. The results will continue to, the counter will continue to roll over throughout the night. I also want to say that there are some municipalities, the smaller ones, that are complete and they have packed up and they have gone home. So that is a positive sign, but those are more of our smaller municipalities. For those of you who are staying throughout the night, the boards are up, and hopefully the picture will unfold. Important to note at this stage, just another statistic that I want to share with you. Based on what we have on the system, not on the board, the 55.65% captured, we are currently sitting on that amount of votes, sitting at about 58.69% voter turnout. So we're hovering just below 60% with the bigger stations still to come in. I have an announcement in closing. We had the misfortune of losing 1 ballot box. Now, before we start getting all anxious about this, it is a ballot box that contained ballots that had already been counted and had been reduced to a result slip. So the results are in for that specific one. However, the Commission is required to retain ballot box for a period of 6 months before disposing of them. So we are quite eager to get back that ballot box so that it can go into storage. It was apparently transferred on an open vehicle, and by the time we got to the destination, we discovered that ballot box has been gone. But I wish to emphasize, those votes has been counted and they have been recorded on the result slip. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Grenville. Thank you for the update. Indeed, the 55% is a beautiful sweetener after a long day of watching the screen, I'm going to open the floor for questions. We're still counting. We're not staying here the whole night. We just popped in, update, and then we go back to counting. So I'm going to take only a few hands, then we're out of here. May I request those who've got the microphone, please? Let's start this side. There's a lady next to you. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Rebecca Davis, Daily Maverick. Mr. Abrams, you've said now, and it says on the IEC website, that voter turnout is looking at about 58.7%. Yesterday we were told repeatedly by the IEC that we were looking at a record turnout, far surpassing 2019, which was 66%. So that is actually a pretty major decline in voter turnout. How do we explain that, and why did we have such a different impression of it yesterday? Thank you.
Second and third line. Second and third line. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm Hawala Magolego from UFM. You know, at the end of the special votes, the chief electoral officer said there was a clear agenda to undermine the credibility of this election. And having said that, after that, there have been so many errors on your side, including this one of losing a box. Does the commission still want to stand by that allegation that there's a clear agenda? And if so, how do you qualify it? Because it's a serious allegation, particularly considering that you have recorded so many mishaps on your side. And I'm not saying that they were not credible, but those instances took place, including people being turned back under questionable circumstances. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paul. I just want to find out if you guys are in a position to give us the breakdown or the completed counting on provincial, like the provinces, like we did with national. Is it
Say that again, please confirm. Let me hear.
Okay.
Please repeat the question.
Okay. Are you in a position to give us the completed percentages on provinces? Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, Francis Lwagamachate from Progressive Independent News Agency. Mr. Abrahams, are you in a position to disclose where was the lost ballot box coming from? And will you then say there was some negligence in handling the transportation of that lost ballot box, and what penalties are expected for the people that, or the employees or officials that were transporting such? Thank you.
I'm going to take the last question before I allow Granville to respond. Are we covered? We're good. Okay, let's go, Granville. We'll take the last batch afterwards. Let's respond.
Let's start with the last question first. Yes, indeed, and my sincere apologies. We are able to tell you exactly where it is the ballot box that we are trying to track is in Ward 14 in Umhlatuzi in KwaZulu-Natal. We are obviously all on our own initiative also trying to trace this. But let me just assure you, and I thought that when I addressed this, that I would have eased your concerns. It is inexcusable, first and foremost, and it's not something that we plan for, to find any election material lying around, immaterial of whether it means anything. So if it's even an IEC booklet or an empty ballot box or even a chair, and I've seen some of these things on social media, we find a piece of furniture, it's IEC branded, and then we seem to associate that with the election being compromised. I did emphasize that on this matter, the results, those votes in the ballot box, it was counted. It was recorded on the result slip. So the value is the result slip at the end of the day. However, for sake of completeness, it is important for us that we get that back and place it into storage. As far as negligence is concerned, we do not believe that is the case, but if indeed so, then obviously we would need to investigate further on this matter. How do we explain the decline? I am not aware if it was mentioned that we are looking at record turnout. In fact, 66 would not be the record turnout for a national provincial election. It would probably be more closer to 80%, as we had experienced in 1994 and 1999. So I don't think that we would have been under that misconception to make a statement that we would be receiving a record turnout. But how do we explain? I think I also gave an explanation in the figures to say that the 55%, and we need to think about this very carefully. The 55% is not 55% of the overall result. We don't know what the result is going to be until all the figures are captured. The 55%, or in this case, as you see on the board, 34.49, constitutes a percentage of voting districts. And the voting districts that are in are the ones that are smaller, that are closer, probably more rural. I think earlier when we showed you maps, we probably colored in the whole of the Karoo, we colored in the whole of the Northern Cape, except for the Uppington, Kimbling areas, because it's sparsely populated places and it's small numbers, which means counting goes faster, and it also means that capturing would be first in the queue. So it's still early days. That figure could still, depending on what the turnout in the bigger VDs, and more specifically in the metros, as I mentioned, constitutes about 50% of our voter population. Errors, and I think this one also related to the ballot box. Yes. The allegation that, you know, and I don't want to keep on saying this, we don't plan for losing a single ballot box. We don't plan for a single ballot or a ballot book to be lost. But look at it in the context. We have just under 23,000 voting districts. And in this election, we would have probably have had 3 or more ballot boxes. So it's more than 100,000 ballot boxes. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I'm talking here about a single ballot box. And I don't think that under the circumstances that we could regard that as an error, given the fact that elections are never perfect, but we plan and we strive towards that. The provincial percentages, we can surely make that available at the cross. Someone can assist you and we can provide you the voter turnout as well as the capture percentage for each and every province. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Grenville. We are in the numbers game. I'm just going to take the last set of questions before we go back counting. There's a hand this side, and then I'll go to the last block. Yes. We'll come back to you. Stacey?
Thank you. It's Natasha Perry here again from SABC News. Mr. Abrahams, do you get a general sense that there's or is there great appreciation of how enormous the task of preparing for elections is? I mean, this time around, you guys printed 90 million ballots. You've had 3 ballots at the voting stations, more voter education. Yeah. So do you get that sense from the public and political parties? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Ngosikona Malinga-Misi from Power FM. I just wanted to know, are you presently still dealing with any disputes where the process is concerned at some voting stations and also the results? Ngosikakul.
Thank you.
Aviram Dila from ENCA. Mine is just about the people that turned away. Of course, some of them stayed in the queues up until the early hours of the morning. Are you not worried about those that couldn't stay in the queues and turned and went home and then didn't practice their democratic right to vote?
Can I take the last question from here? Thank you. Oh, okay. Granville, I'm going to take, I think I'm covered. We'll get your question, I've noted it. Yeah. Okay. Why this mic, Mara, you control? All right. I've got one question from this side. I've got two last questions from this side. Then we'll be covered. Okay.
Thank you. I was Kate. I'm sorry, I got the mic before you
I thought
handed
so.
over to me.
I
My
thought
name
so.
is Sam Amkokeli. Could I please ask from the IEC if there is anything in this election that has gone wrong in how the IEC says it, and if there is any area of managing this election where something has gone wrong, where the IEC takes responsibility? Let me put then one thing to you for right of reply, please, with regards to budgeting. The National Treasury has released a statement. It states that it's not true that the IEC's budgets were cut in context of this election. In fact, the IEC got money, 250 million rands, where its budget cuts were reversed at the beginning of the year. It also got to keep a whole lot of money, 1.5 billion rands, and furthermore, 350 million rands was made available to the IEC. In conversation, it was put to the IEC if the question was asked if the IEC needed money for this election, and the IEC did not make any specific requests for further funding for this election. Could the IEC deal with that, please?
Okay. I've got two hands from this side, and then we're done. Yeah.
Salaino Makwidi here from Salam Media. My question also touches a bit on funding. On the ground, did you feel the impact of the budget cuts that the IEC has had to endure in this year's election?
Pitso Malamane, Kaya News. In ensuring that there's no anxiety, are we in the position as the IEC to give assurance to South Africans when are we going to end or stop counting? When is counting coming to complete? Thank you.
Okay. I'm taking the last round and then I'll be closing. Thank you.
Isak du Plessis, in this spot, in connection with the question earlier asked regarding people that had to turn around from the voting stations, people that were registered and had the confirmation that they were registered, coming at the voting station, nothing is there, everybody tells him they can't help them up to senior level. Can you please react to that?
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you very much, Granville.
In no specific order, the issue of, with all due respect, a lot of these questions have been answered, but I will do it again. Perhaps those who have asked the questions weren't here. The issue of disputes and on the results and that, the Commission is responsible for dealing with objections. And the Commission will deal with these objections before the results are announced. And I think, to quote the chairperson, Muhepia, if you're basically asking us when are you going to deliver the judgment, all I can say it is will be before we will announce the results. They apply their minds. The Commission is constituted of 5 commissioners and one of them has to be a judge. On your right-hand side, we have the department that deals with all of those objections, our legal advisors. And they have been extremely busy. They're out of sight. It looks as if they're doing nothing. But you'll see them compiling piles and piles of files and walking over to the Commission. So that is happening in the backgrounds, and it will be dealt with, and it will be responded to. I also want to deal once again and say to you that we have dealt with this question probably about 3 or 4 times, and I can assure you that if voters were turned away, just being registered does not entitle you to go to any voting station. The legislation has been amended and it is now in line with municipal elections, and you can only vote where you are registered. Did we turn people away? Sure, in terms of the legislation, because if I was registered, or I am registered in Johannesburg and I want to vote in Centurion, you are not going to be allowed to, because you need to go to Johannesburg. The one exception would have been the Section 24A. And the Section 24A required you to notify the Chief Electoral Officer that you would be voting elsewhere, and you had to indicate where. So just by virtue of receiving a Section 24A also did not mean that you could go and vote anywhere. Now, we are not as harsh as turning people away. We are equipped to redirect you, to tell you where it is that you should go and vote. Now, the reason why the stipulation is register, or at least vote where you are registered, is so that we can plan for each and every voter. If we have voters that are now arrive unannounced, then we're not going to have enough people, we're not going to have enough ballot papers, etc. So it's a logistical arrangement. I am yet to find a situation, or if I have been provided with proof or an ID number, and that the person was at a specific voting station where he's registered and he has been turned away. Does the IEC take responsibility for everything or anything that has gone wrong? Yes, of course. We do not shy away from responsibility. And after this election, we will, as we normally do, we will go and debrief, we will reflect, we will also go with political parties and all stakeholders, and we will improve where required. The issue of budget, suffice to say that as all other state-funded institutions, we work within the MTF and we have to work with what we are given. With the budget that we have received, we were able to have for this election 2 registration weekends, as we always do. We were able to have the activities around election day, special votes, and 2 days for special votes, and voting day, voting abroad, as well as our voter education program, and seeing to it that each and every voting station is equipped with the materials, and of course also the staffing. We were also able to introduce, because of the fact that we want accuracy in counting, as we've mentioned, 3 additional staff members per voting station. When is counting coming to an end? I think that, without going into the details, we are required to announce the result within 7 days. And whether or not counting is done, there is no time frame for when counting should be done. We will finish counting if it's not done when we finish. But the one thing that we will be held accountable to is that we need to announce the results within 7 days of the election. And when we count in the presence of party agents. Just lastly, the question that Natasha asked, the task, yes indeed. What we need to understand is, other than when a country is at war, an election is the single largest deployment of resources. We are not at war, and elections in this country will forever remain the single largest deployment and logistical task. Do we feel that we are appreciated for this task? We feel that this is our responsibility to the nation, and we don't do it to receive appreciation and acknowledgement for what we do. What we do want at the end of the day is to see that our work is reflected in a peaceful transition from one regime or parliament to the next, and that it also unites us as a country successfully in past elections, and we hope it does the same, that there's an initial boost once we have a free and fair election, irrespective of who the winners or losers are, whether it's economic, whether it's in other ways, whether we get more focus from the rest of the world. And that, I think, for us, the fact that we can assist this country, that we are all a part of, I think that in itself is enough appreciation for this organization. I thank you.
Granville, sorry to answer my question. You're just honest about my question. You've got an inappropriate way.
Can I engage with you on the bilateral? Thank you.
No. You are supposed to
Who's this guy?
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I bring this press briefing to an end. I'll allow Grenville to take to do a bilateral with the gentleman. Any other information we are available on our platforms. You can send WhatsApp, you can send emails. We are available to the nation. We've got social media platforms as well that are available to South Africans, and we have been responding accordingly. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's watch the screen. That's where the results are coming. Thank you very much and good night.
We're watching the screen, of course. I hope you guys are still there. I just saw something regarding a missing ballot box. I just want to go to that tweet sent by the IEC because people will start saying that the elections are rigged. And here's the tweet. Electoral Commission appeals to citizens in and around Ward 14, Umhlatuze in KZN to be on the lookout for an IEC branded ballot box that went missing in transit from voting station Matamzana Dube School in VD Umhlamtuze to the municipal electoral office for storage. The ballot in the box have been counted, reconciled and validated. The Electoral Commission is required by law to store ballot cast in general election for a period of 6 months. Furthermore, the IEC appeals to anyone who finds the box to return it to us. Citizens are reminded that anyone found in the possession of ballots is liable to criminal prosecution. That is what they are saying. There is a missing ballot box, and next thing we want to say that you rigged the votes because we have issues where even ballot boxes are going missing. Guys, I hope you are tuning in. I was not really listening to the media briefing. I took it as an opportunity for me to just get a rest, a breather before we continue. Anyway, we are back, and as the IEC has said, the picture now looks like we are going somewhere, but are we going somewhere slowly or not? As we can see, the national that we are going to start with it, as I was explaining earlier on, that national results are a shocker. As we are heading for 50% complete, we are currently on 34%, 35 if you will, and it's showing a picture where MK is above the EFF and the DA is very strong at 1 million. So now the picture is that what happened to the EFF? How did the MK just go in and pass the EFF? They are currently on 9.1 as compared to 9.38 of the MK. KZN is yet to be finished. Just to go to KZN quickly, they are on 18%. There are more votes belonging to the MK while we wait for the last 80%. The picture that we have is that EFF should prepare for the West. But it doesn't mean that they are losing their votes as compared to last time where they had, around 10%. They can still improve. But that which they've been speaking about of booting out the DA is not seeming like it's going to be possible. On the comments, ANC captured that ballot box. EFF is gone to Zimbabwe. People are really speaking about that, but I think you're just making a light moment. The EFF is below, and the question is what happened? Big rallies, mass movements, putting people together to go and vote. Every time there was a campaign, there were a lot of people. What really happened here? How did the MK just out of the blue come and overtake the EFF? I am sure a lot of people are worried. There was the polls that were made, and they said that the EFF is overtaking the DA. Who is voting for the DA? I thought the people said that no more voting DA because DA is not for us. John Steenhuisen has won the hearts of South Africans. They are on 24.61. Slightly went down. They were about to reach 25. But remember, they are fighting against their previous record of 22. Now, at 24, the DA is going nicely. And let us go down and not only focus because the men at the top, as someone said, you are a man on top and doing nothing, the most useless thing. The man at the top, Mr. President Cyril Ramaphosa's party, is sticking to 42%. 34 complete, KZN still coming, and you are on 42. You have to be worried. You have to be worried because the picture tells us that if KZN is yet to be completed to nearly 50%, and you have 42%, they're going to whip the floor with you. Kariso says the EFF has really done its part. The people who made their choice, we can't fault really. Please choose their government. I mean, yes, they did their job, but at the end of the day, their job is to convince even those who are not voting to vote. So even with the ANC, we could say that they did their job is the people, but their job is to force them to vote. Forcing in a nice way, not in a harsh way, forcing them to vote for you because you have change. So meaning if they don't vote for you, they don't believe in what you're saying, or there's something wrong with how you put your things, which they make sure it makes sure that they don't back you. And which brings the question of then what did MK do right to land them in the position where they are number 3? Of course, after some few votes, EFF could go at the top of MK, but I'm worried about KZN. Anyway, another party that we should be glad to see is the Patriotic Alliance. Say what you want about the fact that they're ex-prisoners or not. The guys have some movements. Already on 150, it means these guys are talking to the people. The people are listening. 150 is big. And it looks like they are going to do more than what EFF did in 2014, which was 4%. As it stands now, they are almost about to reach that 4%. And unfortunately, MK and PA took the position of EFF and EFF, IFP and VF Plus, with Action SA still coming on 38%. I think we really overrated Herman Mashaba, and we thought that probably that IFP votes were going to belong to him, but is still standing at 38,403, which amounts to 0.88%. ACDP, UDM, Triple C, ATM, Rise Mzansi, even Boss are still there. Good, as you can see, ACT, Ace Makashule. These are the smaller parties who don't even have a 1%. But then now we should go to provincial results. Zamugutle Tusi says, what policy platform does MK have, Vel, besides Zupta, Nomix, and Zulu nationalism? I think with the MK, it is just the love for Zuma. If you want to recruit someone, no offense, if you want to recruit someone, you just say, do you love Zuma? They say yes, you say, let's vote for him. That's enough. If you love Zuma, then let's vote. Because a lot of things were not clarified there by the MK. And now the question would be, then since Zuma cannot lead MK into parliament, is Mogoeng going to leave all those benefits they are giving him as the former Chief Justice to go and lead parliament? Or is that dream that he had, because we were told that God came into my dreams and told me that you are going to lead this country, and he said, I don't know when it's going to happen, but eventually it will. Is Mogoeng a prophet? Is he telling us that these parties are going to take out the ANC and decide, let's have someone neutral by the name of Mogoeng to lead us, and the rest of us as the parties, we can take the positions of ministers depending on how big you are? I'm probably dreaming, but I'm getting somewhere. Because if really there is a leader that could lead and not be one-sided, it's probably Mogoeng. Because if you look at it, no one wants John Steenhuisen, who failed grade 12, to lead them. No one what Mr. Ngandla can even lead. He has a case. Many would not want Julius to lead them because they are going to say, you are coming with a small percent. And Mogoeng is not affiliated with any party. Then get Mogoeng. Anyway, sorry for speaking too much. Let us go to provinces. Firstly, provinces, we have the Eastern Cape. They are on 40.9%. They are coming along nicely. As you can see, in green is the ANC scattered all over like potholes that they keep giving people there by the Eastern Cape. The ANC is in green all over the place, but they are 40% done. It's leading with 66%. Yeah, they do love them like that. Soft Engler says, yes, the PA won the colored votes, of course. EFF, please come on, says Stephen. I hope the voters were listening. ANC on 66, the DA on 12, and the EFF on 9%. It's safe to say no one is going to remove the ANC there by the Eastern Cape. As you can see, UDM, at least they are coming along nicely, together with the PA, getting 16,000 votes in Eastern Cape for the PA. That is a win. That is huge for them. And as much as we are praising the PA, but look at Jacob Zuma. Zuma is about to get 8,000 votes in Eastern Cape, and he currently has 1.28. These ones do not matter in a province, but they matter a lot when we are going to be looking at how national goes, because people are voting. Anyway, let's go to another province, which is the Free State, the home of Ace Makashule, who's been getting some whiplashes left, right, and center. The ANC sitting nicely on 53, with the DA on 21%, and the EFF, at least again, they're still number 3 on 13%. ANC 176,000. The DA with 68 and the EFF with 43. Along comes the VF Plus with 11,000 and MK still there. MK, you doing better than Ace and Claudi. Zuma has support even where he has never went to go and campaign. He's getting lots of love. And Action SA, 1,000 vote. Anyway, if you look from MK party down, there's no one who's making any moves. 2,000 that they're getting doesn't make much of a difference because the champion has a 53%. They are sitting comfortably. As much as nationally they are losing, provincially they are still strong. Now here is the province where many are thinking it might be the same way as national, the Gauteng province. They are currently standing at 23.2%, very low. Much like the KZN, they are still going to be calculating. But the thing that I like about this is that the man who was once very strong is now sitting and shivering at 33%. Borderless Africa says MK is eating from EFF and ANC. I'm sure you are not happy with that, with the name Borderless Africa. I'm sure you would have thought, you would have wanted them not to go the way they're going at the moment. But yes, MK is eating nicely. MK is drinking tea, enjoying themselves. Zuma is drinking tea wherever he is, knowing that he's just getting those votes left, right, and center. Thank you for your fairness updates. Alan Rakob, thank you very much. Till what time you'll be updating? Want to share the link with friends? I think I'll be here until my network says it's enough, because most times after 2 hours, it reboots and then it's either I go off or I wait for it to come back. But let us just see. It's at night. If we go as much as 11, we can stay here until we are tired. So yes, let's go back to Gauteng. I was just reading the comments. EFF is just, it's just here. I know you probably can't see my mouse, but it's just here. And at the top, with red colors. I started by it because I want to go from 3 to 1. Nothing wrong with it, but the EFF is just there. 11%, 11.82, 85,000. The DA is very strong. 217,000, 30%. The ANC, Congolos, 241, 33%. Now you know that the ANC is finished. You know it's finished if they are still on 23, but they can't do anything. It's good night for them. And then, since I started by 3, let us go down on parties that we were not expecting to make a huge impact. How is the MK on 67,000, 9%? And Action SA is on 3. No, Zuma is powerful. They took Ngizwe to the hostel. I remember he met with Ramaphosa. Sometimes we might get it with the first search. I remember they met. They put him together with Ramaphosa so that he can be able... Here he is. I thought maybe I could get a video of them. They put Ngizwe with Ramaphosa to go and influence the hostel voters so that maybe they can bring some level of confidence to the ANC. But wow, it was not to be. Here they are. They thought Ngizwe probably could say that hostel dwellers, come and vote for Mr. Matamela, is going to give you what you need. But the people said, Sihamba nomsholozi. Now they voted for Jacob Zuma. As you can see there, 67,000 and counting. voting for the MK party. Now, is the ANC very worried, or do they still think that they can win and get more votes? Because I am worried about the ANC. And then let's look at the Action SA, 24,000 votes. Herman Mashaba was once the mayor of city of Joburg. If he probably thought that he's going to upgrade from mayor to premier, he's having some problems. He's having some nightmares and hallucinating, because at 24, it doesn't make sure. Godfrey, EFF will definitely make a noticeable couldn't see that they will noticeable make, they will do better than before. They could, but the introduction of MK could really harm the impact of the EFF. What is nice about EFF is that, says Lulama, is that working smart and hard on saving people of the country is their bloodstream. It's going again, working for the people. Okay, I hear you. But remember, working for the people would be getting a chance to lead a province, or maybe go and have a structure there in provincial or national, a minister maybe. That's where we would really see the impact of EFF. Remember, sometimes they don't vote for you because some of them have worries about what you can do. There are people who feel like Zuma. When they compare Zuma, they would tell you that Zuma didn't have a lot of load shedding. That's when people would be saying Zuma stopped HIV, which Thabo Mbeki left it like that to kill a lot of people. That's when they would be telling you about Zuma. And when people say that, they are giving you a track record, and some people say that we vote because we know that Zuma is for the people. So sometimes when people don't go and vote for the EFF, it's not because they don't like them. It's because they probably are worried that they haven't seen them working and leading, and they feel like, what if they don't do better than the ANC? I'm just answering that question you are saying. So anyway, without wasting my breath, let's go. Action SA. Thank you very much for that, Zamogutle. Action SA, VF Plus, the Patriotic Alliance, or Rise Mzansi. I'm always going to be on the case of Rise Mzansi. I mean, we are poor. How do you waste millions of money from Oppenheimers? I would have used 1 million or 2 million just to buy fake placards, just to buy fake and put them at places that I know that they are going to pass, not just to go everywhere, even on roads, big roads, and put those Rise Mzansi thing, only for you to rise down instead of up. I will always be on their case, especially if they don't get one seat. I'm always going to complain about them. They're the same way as a pastor, Musi Maimane, getting 5,000 votes. I mean, they were lazy. They were lazy. They should have done better. IFP at 6,000 and ACDP at 6,002. Musi Maimane, of course, are still sleeping. Al Jamam. Here's another premiership candidate. You might see Al Jama becoming the premier of Gauteng. These guys are hypnotizing these political parties, because they have a pick it up guy there at City of Joburg. They had less than 2%, but someone is a mayor in Johannesburg. So as long as Al Jama is there, you might be surprised, because coalition is the problem. PAC on 2,000. Maxwell, thank you, my man. What is happening with Rise SA or Mzansi Child of God? Well, they ate the money that was supposed to make the things happen. They wasted money. So, Songezo, go back to, I think he was in journalism or something like that. He must go back there and start writing articles and papers, because it is over for whatever dream they had. I mean, so many millions. It's like that that man, Herman Mashaba, asking someone to write his own biography and paying him the money and lying about it, only for him to say that, no, I did do it. It's like we are dealing with comedians here who want to be politicians, but they thought it's easy. As Julius Malema said, a lot of people are going to learn the hard way. But those that a lot of people did not apply to Jacob Zuma, because Jacob Zuma is doing fantastic. Okay, without going on and on, let us go from Gauteng to KZN. That's where Msholozi is singing Mshinwam. And he has a big AK-47 aiming at everyone who's trying to raise their head. As you can see, the difference between him and IFP is 20%. The difference between Jacob Zuma and the IFP, 20%, because as you can see, MK is sitting on 42% with 18.92% votes. Where does Zuma consult? This is unbelievable. He must be consulting somewhere, because there ain't no way that Zuma is just leaving the floor clean like that. Even ANC is not noticeable. They are not used to be number 3. But then that question of how will the MK win? Sorry, how will the MK win KZN if they are not above 50%? And how will they do that if, when you look at it, the DA is on 8% and the DA, if it happens that the DA doesn't work with MK, the party that should be working with them, it is down at number 5. Sitting down at number 5 means for EFF and MK to work together, MK will need to work harder, or EFF will need to raise their votes. Now, the only candidate that is coming is the DA. And what I said before we went to the media briefing was that, what if there is a possibility of MK, DA, and EFF? We are going to see a few provinces where that possibility is there. We have already seen Gauteng, if I could go back, but the EFF standing at 9,000 votes with 18.92 complete. The MK really did a lot of guys bad here, because they took a lot of votes. Chabalala says MK is nailing IFP and ANC combined. They are a force to be reckoned with, because they are not here to play. And the fact that there's been infightings between, there were fightings between, I think, ANC leaders, Duma there together with the IFP, and it happened in front of the king. And the king, these other weeks before elections, he was not happy about the trust fund and how the government wants to put their hands inside the decisions. And he said, we are about to go to vote. So remember, a lot of people can influence this. And Jacob Zuma sitting there comfortably dancing. And now, as we see it, mopping the floor with the ANC. So let's go back to that possibility. DA 8%, EFF 2%, that is 10%. MK Party 42%, they are whooping them, that is over 50%. Then who do we make as the premier? Certainly they would not, probably they would not agree to giving it to Dlamini. Maybe at that point the DA would say, who's that guy? Papa, some name like that. I think he likes speaking Zulu there in the KZN. They would give it to him. And then going back to Gauteng, this is the second possibility. The DA is on 30. 30 plus the 11% of the EFF, we are on 40. 40 plus the 9% of the MK, we are over 50. And we are not done calculating. If by any chance ANC thinks that he can make things happen, Then we go and call Action SA together with VF Plus, clean the floor with the ANC, and then now, Chris Papas, thank you very much, Zamogutle. Now we then decide, okay, we are working together, and we gave someone the head there to be a premier there in KZN. Now, who do we decide in Gauteng? They must then share it amongst themselves, the three of them, and now it's DA, EFF, and MK. So that is the second one, which is Gauteng. We saw KZN. Let us go to MP. MP, the ANC, the completion is 33%. The ANC is sitting on 49.96. That is almost 50%. But the possibility that we have here is that 50% might not be reached. We might just as well see the ANC going below and doing 48. That would be a good thing, because there is the MK. Who would have thought? I said Zuma is getting votes even where we were not thinking. I've been saying that it's probably KZN and Gauteng where is going to be recognized, but who would have thought MK would go and decline the ANC and be where they are? And the EFF following up with almost 13% is doing justice to MK. And we are going to see we will go to Northern Cape, don't worry. And then when you have those two, it's giving us it's 30. It's giving us 30. So who do they call? Because now when you look at it, there is DA has 12 also. So now it's 40. The ANC can't reach 50. And then they take the rest of them, but they will not agree, because the ANC can easily say, VF Plus, come here. Let us work together. And that's done. So Mpumalanga is a possibility, but ANC would need to lose a lot if it's a possibility of being taken away. Let's go to Northern Cape, which I believe they are almost about to end 86. They're almost there. They're almost about to end. And Congolos is still losing. And Congolos is the same flames. They are sitting with green colors, but the most colors seem to be going to the DA, with the EFF going on red colors. But look at this. The EFF is number 2 with 11%, but the areas they cover is just there at the top, just at the top. But of course, it is where they are mostly getting votes, and they're just at the top, and they are number 3. That shows you how small the Northern Cape is. Thank you, Luazi. And Sabata says, I see John Steenhuisen being deputy president of the country. I pause. Yep, another possibility there. Thank you for the updates. We are watching closely from Namibia. Thank you for watching, my man. National Assembly, as we are on Northern Cape. So it won't be easy to defeat the ANC here, but only if some people don't go and change their votes, because PA is on 9. It's possible for PA to want to work with the ANC, but that issue of saying that DA, ANC, DA, EFF, and MK can come again. And then this time they can put a few players to come into the game, because if ANC can go over 49, it means if they want to show them how this thing is done, they can work together and decide that we are going to share this. So this is another possibility. It tells you that the days of ANC are numbered. Let us go to Limpopo. I can already tell you the ANC would be leading in Limpopo. As I said, it seems like even Eastern Cape cannot match the ANC in Limpopo. The people of Limpopo love the ANC. And if I remember well, The ANC went to Johannesburg. They went to FNB, and the EFF went to Peter Mokaba. So the ANC was like, there's no need for us to even waste our time in Limpopo. You don't spend time encouraging people who are going to vote for you. What are you going to tell them? Because they know anything that you're going to say. The picture of 71%. Wow, Limpopo. You love the ANC. It means they are doing well there by the ANC with the introduction of Josie Butani. He actually went to, if you guys didn't see this, just to remind you, I hope I don't mess with the network. Josie. If you didn't see it, there was some confrontation, but not direct one between Josie and the supporters of the EFF.
Because we can also do it. We can also do it. There is no problem. We are not scared of anything. We can do anything as well here now. We can do the campaigning as well. So do your work. Don't just be and fold your arms here. We can do it. We can say Viva ANC here. We can say Ramaphosa is doing all these things here. And you can't do anything because history must record the one who fired the first shot.
You see, Butani, once, if I'm not mistaken, the chairperson of the EFF in Limpopo booted out because of results not being produced, and realizing that, hey, there's no longer porridge there. I'm no longer going to have money. There's no income. He went back to Congolos. They welcomed him. But what he messed up was going to Juju Valley and fighting with the EFF, that was the ANC. And in the end, it meant someone got shot, a child got shot, and he caught a case. Apparently, they are saying that step aside is in effect. Child of God, I agree with you, Patrick Taba. I lost interest too. Africa Black says, looks as though ANC has been improving the life of Limpopo people. A bitter ex-useless EFF chairperson. As I said, so people could say that the introduction of Butani in the ANC made sure that it solidified the importance of the ANC. But I think Limpopo people just love ANC, man. They just love Ramaphosa. Remember, this is the first president who they can align with and say that he comes from our province. As much as they've been voting for ANC all along, but they love Ramaphosa. Remember when Ramaphosa won the first elective conference, when they zoomed the face of Zuma and he looked like he saw a ghost. And when they celebrated Ramaphosa, they started singing ZCC songs because they love him and he's their people. So the Limpopo people love Ramaphosa, man. You can't even argue about that. Zuma knows it very well. He knows that in Limpopo, I'm not going to do anything. That's why, Papa Penny just said, take this 2,000 votes. That's what we can give you, because what we know is that in Guyana, ANC has neglected the people. So let me give you the 2,000. There they have it from Limpopo. And EFF, while they are improving, they were looking down this morning and during the day, 13.11% as compared to 71. It's a big lead. And the DA is on 19,000 with VF plus 2%. Chris Litlokwa says, I'm from Limpopo. People of Guyana don't have water. They are waiting for rain because they know that ANC will keep on winning but never give them water. Natish, welcome to the newer South Africa. And Makosini, I'm currently in Limpopo. I asked one young man, why are you voting for the ANC. He said ANC is giving us 350 on that issue of 350. But remember, ANC said they're going to increase it. Other parties said it's going to be around 700. Why would you go for 350 if they are promising you 700? Unless they don't trust other leaders. And Isaac says, I'm from Limpopo. What did the ANC do for us, really? Well, you were voting for them, and it is possible for ANC to go down in Limpopo. It's not. Or is it possible? It's not. Not Limpopo. Not when the president is Ramaphosa. Maybe if it was the father from Nkandla, they would have thought about it. But not when the president is Ramaphosa. He knows. He knows. He doesn't even have to get a call from them asking, how are you doing? He knows that they are in good condition in terms of the votes. But anyway, Action SA having 1,000 vote, which calls for me to take a break, just 2 minutes to go out and come back. Guys, I'm going to be out. Please don't go away. I'm drinking too much water, so I can't stay long on the computer. I'll be back now.
Because we can also do it. We can also do it. There is no problem. We are not scared of anything. We can do anything as well here now. We can do the campaigning as well. So do your work. Don't just be and fold your arms here. We can do it. We can say Viva ANC here. We can say Ramaphosa is doing all these things here. And you can't do anything because history must record the one who fired the first shot. Because we can also do it. We can also do it. There is no problem. We are not scared of anything. We can do anything as well here now. We can do the campaigning as well. So do your work. Don't just be and fold your arms here. We can do it. We can say Viva ANC here. We can say Ramaphosa is doing all these things here. And you can't do anything because history must record the one who fired the first shot.
So yes, guys, as we continues, that is the province where the people don't have clean drinking water, but they still believe in Congolos. So now, do we complain about service delivery when we don't really have a worry about the ANC and voting them? I mean, if the people of Limpopo decline the ANC, I would have thought, well, they are coming along nicely. But at 18%, when you're giving them 71%, it's possible for the ANC to get close to 75. And if you look at the track record, they vote them there 60 and upwards. So let's exchange load shedding. ANC is losing and they won. Or let's expect load shedding. ANC is losing and they won't tolerate that. 350 is enough to buy 10 kg bags of maize meal. I don't know about that. Okay, let's leave Limpopo. We've spent too much time on it, probably because it's winning. And go to Northwest. Northwest, they have just counted 25.49%. And as much as they are going, the ANC is also going. The ANC remains at 61.47%. The EFF is second, and they have 17%, with 9% belonging to the DA. So, which tells us that it's a no-go area. They can defeat the ANC wherever they want. They are not going to do the ANC anything in the northern places, northern provinces, Limpopo, Northwest. Unfortunately, the man of Nkandla has just entered Mpumalanga, so we can't speak about the ANC in MP because they might lose. Anyway, MK got 2,793 in Northwest. Not expected, but it's a good one to see them getting 1.69%. The PA, they're still trying with 1,000 votes. People like Raz Mzanzi, when are they going to rise? IFP 125. Velenkosi, my word. They do it for Shenge. It's never gonna happen. Poverty is romantic to the people of Limpopo and that cutting edge province. Yay. They don't have a problem with it. They can go hungry. But as long as they see Ramaphosa on TV, it's good for them. So now, please press like before comment. Thank you, child of God. We should do that. Get a lot of what you call likes. Okay, Western Cape. Let us go to Western Cape. Sometimes I would want to just take the phone and tweet the link so that we get a lot of viewers. Excuse me if I'm taking a bit of time. Because it's more important to get new people coming in. It helps us to grow, guys. Anyway, this is feed your eyes. This is the Western Cape. The DA is comfortable. They are not worried about who says what. They actually says, you guys fight amongst each other. I am good in the Western Cape. So as it stands, as for cutting edge provinces, how about national? What do you think of the Patriotic Alliance? Itumeleng, we are going to go there, don't worry. What do you think about a Patriotic Alliance? Our Patriotic Alliance, they're doing magics. I'm going to show you the national. You will see how PA is working. The Patriotic Alliance, many people call it a gangster paradise, but they'll just be mocking them. Patriotic is doing numbers. Of course, you can expect that in Western Cape. Who wouldn't think that PA would work well in Western Cape? And not only Western Cape, they are doing numbers there in Gauteng. So PA, perfect. PA is coming along good. They are doing numbers. And it's good to see. But look, the yellow colors are the DA. With ANC getting 19% is goodbye for the ANC there by Western Cape. 10% from they got it. The PA got it 84,000. That's good, and they are halfway 51%. With EFF 4%. I mean, Patriotic Alliance passed the EFF in Western Cape. Actually, that is expected. EFF is not strong in Western Cape and also in KZN. They are not really strong. So that one is expected. It's not a shocker. Triple C getting 2%. That's good. And you have VF plus 2%. Al Jama is rising with 12%. You must see how Musi Maiman is doing. Because former leader of the DA, but good on 10,000 with 1%, and MK free 4,000 votes. He doesn't even have to worry. Free 4,000 votes, and it keeps increasing that percentage. He's fighting for nationally, and Mr. Zaki is on 3,000, just above Musi Maimane. They should be having some conversation together there. DA isn't that safe at this point. Yes, it's not that safe. But I've seen it since this morning. It keeps going up and down and not with a lot of percentages. So it's probably going to get nothing less than 50%. And it would mean that they are safe. Obviously, Helen Ziles is looking at this and worried, but she probably knows that she's in safe hands. So that is the DA for you. and you have Rise Mzansi. So at this point, we know that Limpopo, Northwest, and Western Cape are covered. Even the Eastern Cape, I forgot about them. Those are covered. Non-negotiable about those things. They are covered. No one can stay there and say that coalition on those provinces. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have a province you wanna watch, you wanna check before we go to national, because they keep changing. Zamogutla here, DA is losing its stronghold on Western Cape. So we are on national 35.74. They are having progress as much as it seems low. And look, the ANC is about to break that 1.9. And we should really thank the voters who decided to vote against the ANC and went for the DA, as much as we could have expected them to go elsewhere. But going to the DA, I think it's very good because they are neck to neck with the ANC. ANC says I'm 1.9, DA says I'm still in the millions also. And the MK, I mean, let's talk about this. Who would have thought MK would be leading EFF by now? We scrolled past the provinces and we come back to the national, and MK has increased. So who would have really thought MK would defeat the EFF, as much as we are not yet done? 9.57 to 9.15. Who would have thought would be here? So nationally, ANC must be scared. I don't think the ANC leaders are eating. How do you eat when you know for sure that that food you are used to? I mean, how do you eat when you know for sure that the food you are familiar with is no longer going to come? How do you eat? I'm not trying to be funny or anything. I mean, how do you eat when you know for sure that hunger is coming? Who eat comfortably knowing that if we lose national, we are going to starve? No more tenders. Who eats? I mean, at this point, they have to be worried. That's why Gwere said the KZN is tribal. It's full of tribalism. That's why you see those votes going to them. MK flipped EFF for third position. Zamogutla, you are right. MK, nobody thought. I'm sure even the EFF leaders, they never thought MK would come and do what it's doing now, because MK is just proving to be a force. The EFF probably expected we are going to do good, and once we are done, we can have a coalition with parties like MK. But MK said, we'll talk about that later. I'm number 3. Is it going to change though? Is the EFF ever going to find some force and go above the MK? We are speaking about national, remember. And EFF said that they are not worried about the DA. They are looking at the big head. They are not worried about the DA. They are looking at the ANC. And hey, now they have to be worried about not only the ANC, they have to worry about Zuma now. Of course, Zuma is a friend of the EFF, but number 4 at this point is a lose. But we are 35%. We are still coming. I'm sure there's a lot of people. You see these white marks there. I'm sure that is EFF. I am quite sure. Oh, sorry, no, that's not South. That's Lesotho. But I'm sure most of these ones are EFF. I'm sure somebody is going to be rescuing the EFF. I am sure they are coming, but if not, KZN is going to be giving Zuma a lot of votes because they are not even close to going to 50%. Last time we saw they were on 19%. Someone has to be rescuing EFF because we don't want to see less members of the EFF going to parliament. It's not going to be interesting. They are not going to hold everyone accountable with less members. Then Northern Cape, we are done with quoting EFF third, is it? We're going to check that. EFF won't have a comeback. They effed up with open border policy, and you know how stubborn South Africans are. So yes, we are on that, and PA, there they are with 152, 3% for PA. They deserve hands. I'm sure wherever Gayton is, he's very happy. Only if we had contact with people like Gayton, we would be calling him to find out how it's feeling. Because 152,000, that is something to celebrate. He must really be celebrating that because you don't get 152 just anywhere freely. When you get this thing, you know that you worked. And remember Abahambe. Remember that when Gayton did that, when Gayton went to the border to look at the Zimbabweans who were coming to South Africa illegally, when Gayton did that, it was not for sure. He did that because he knew, if I do this, the Dudula people will side with me. Remember, what happened is that Operation Dudula is not contesting. So they decided, we are going to work with, we are going to give our votes to the PA. That is how you see PA having a lot of support like they are now, because they got some of them there, and obviously they've been working on the other hand, meaning that they are doing numbers not by mistake. Days in Tando says KZN people are united. I salute them. Keep it up, heroes. Lengeliche says stadium politics and social media will make you believe EFF will grow. LOL, border talk and the conduct of EFF kills the support. That's why they are on number 4, according to how you're saying, Langeliche. Thank you for your comment. And IFP, at least IFP, well, they are trying. Look at how they were currently on 2%. Yo, they went from 6. From 6, they went from 8 to 6 to 4 to 2 to 3 at least. Now they are on 2. IFP is dying. At least a few seats in parliament would help them, but VF is still going to parliament. Action SA, oh, Herman is going to parliament. Herman is pushing at 35%. Herman would probably get a seat or 2 in parliament. Herman, we are going to see you in parliament. At least he has done something. And ACDP, those parties that are just adding numbers, with Pastor there always being the leader there. UDM, the same as ACDP. Triple C, I haven't checked who are the leaders of Triple C, but seems to be doing numbers also. ATM also coming along. I guess Rise Mzansi could get a seat into parliament with how many percentage are left in terms of counting. They are on 15%. Probably the millions they spent was for 1 seat. The same as Musi Maimani Bosa. If Musi goes to parliament, I think they would be sorted. Al Jama, and when you go down, there is Ace Mahashule. Hey, people of Eastern Cape, vote for Ace. If they don't vote more, he's not going to parliament. As it stands, guys, this is how it looks. On the comments, by why did EFF not get more votes after all their efforts? Tanagi. Remember, just because I attend your concert doesn't mean I like your music. Maybe I was bored. I'm just making an example. So you get a lot of people sometimes proving to be for you, tweeting, commenting, and speaking about putting you in office, only for them to go behind the ballot paper and laugh and say that Congolese. That could be some of the reasons, because I'm also surprised how people voted, because a win is what we thought the EFF would take out. But as we go along, I hope if ever the stream is lagging, guys, please let me know, because I switched off the other computer, so I'm on one PC. I'm not able to see how the stream is going. So for now, as we are on national, just to refresh and see how it's going. 35.74. Let's see if it has changed. It hasn't. So we go back to the provinces. And before that, let's just see what are the latest in terms of trending topics. The elections result is still there. Trending Eastern Cape together with Northwest, because ANC is sweeping there by those provinces, and SA votes. Okay, Gauteng, of course, is going to be taking the center stage. EFF was too hard on Israel and supported Hamas. So, but Gaston, how will the support for Hamas have an impact on EFF not getting votes? Because a lot of people who vote don't even care about the war between Israel and Hamas. They actually don't even concern themselves with those. So really, if you thought maybe the EFF stance on that war could really be the reason for their votes, I don't think it could, because a lot of people don't concern themselves with that. Sibulele says, but guys, forget about concerts and parties. EFF always show up for the black community. These numbers are really disappointing. Of course they do. They show up a lot of times. But remember, the people who are voting have different views in terms of who they vote for. So you could really say that it's disappointing. But did you vote, by the way? Did you vote for them? Because if you are a percentage that voted, at least maybe we are waiting for your votes to be counted, as we are currently sitting at 9%. And Tanaka says South Africa doesn't deserve EFF. Why deny them votes when their manifesto clearly resonate with us citizens? I spoke about experience versus qualifications. In most companies, they hire people with experience and just undermine your qualification and not give you a chance. So that narrative, you can use it with the EFF, because they have everything on paper, but people still choose experience. All leaders with experience, they choose it over young people with papers. That is what is probably happening to the EFF. And I believe I believe even well that comment made me smile. But anyway, well, I do drink water, but just not often as I should, because I would be going to the toilet every 10 minutes. So experience versus paper. So people probably think that the Congolese has the suitable experience. And also, I spoke about if EFF can ever have a province they can lead, which I think the focus for EFF should be, let us get one province, so that let us get one province so that at least as the EFF we can go down and say that we have experience. Why are they choosing the DA? The DA has been governing Western Cape. And you know what they do good is that they make sure that the other parts of Western Cape is shining. And the hood, where there is a lot of mikuku there, the shacks, they neglect them. When tourists come into South Africa, they land in the nicest place of Western Cape. Everyone paints Western Cape as a good province under the DA. And that makes sure that a lot of people say that, well, the DA has Western Cape, so we should vote for them. That is why I'm saying experience versus qualification. So as of now, the EFF doesn't have a province they are governing. Give them one province, look at how they govern, and I'm telling you, 2029 or whichever year would be voting, then the EFF will get a lot of votes. And maybe there should be some few changes. Let us be honest about it. There should be some few changes in terms of the approach of the EFF. There should definitely be a lot of changes. Introspection needs to happen. They're going to elective conference. We'll see who will be the leaders. But something needs to happen. If you do it 3 times and with the hope of going as far as the DA and it doesn't happen, you need to go back and say that maybe let us talk about what South Africans are saying. Let us address it. I mean, you can address the issue of borderless South Africa the same way Mbuyiseni Ndlozi did. If they go the way Mbuyiseni Ndlozi did, maybe the people would sit down and say, you're making sense. But the ones that they have had previously probably killed a lot of them. Remember, you guys probably might have forgotten. You know the issue of Ntantla last year. I'm not sure if it's last year or 2022, but it's earlier. I think it's last year. The issue of Ntantla and Dudula, Operation Dudula, and the EFF, that issue is long gone. But there are people who still think about that issue because Dudula was on the EFF case about foreigners, and EFF called them out on what they are doing, and there was an ongoing commotion between these two because at the end, Ntantla left, but people still have that topic in their head, which is probably why now when you see it, when the votes are lost, there could be a lot of questions. I'm still asking myself too on what really happened because the EFF deserved better. What provinces you guys do you think you want to check? Tanaka, I think the open border policy crushed the EFF, but and on top of that, it's not a new thing. It has been there, so maybe that plus some of the speeches that are made makes people to say that okay, that's how we are deciding. I think that's how we are deciding. Let me just check. I would want to take just 10 minutes break to refill my water. But at that point, maybe we can play something. Oh, this is nice. No, sorry. It's playing music, which is against YouTube. Probably the right one to play is this.
But I'm not prepared.
I'm coming back.
I'm not prepared to take a platform and say foreigners must go home. I would rather not be a president of South Africa. I'll be a president of my children at home. We'll practice cabinet there. No, I don't want. I must go and tell these hungry Zimbabweans to leave here. And when I tell them to leave, I send them to where? to die. But I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared to take a platform and say foreigners must go home. I would rather not be a president of South Africa. I'll be a president of my children at home. We'll practice cabinet there. No, I don't want. I must go and tell these hungry Zimbabweans to leave here. And when I tell them to leave, I send them to where? To die. But I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared to take a platform and say foreigners must go home. I would rather not be a president of South Africa. I'll be a president of my children at home. We'll practice cabinet there. No, I don't want. I must go and tell these hungry Zimbabweans to leave here. And when I tell them to leave, I send them to where? To die. But I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared to take a platform and say foreigners must go home. I would rather not be a president of South Africa. I'll be a president of my children at home.
Which is what I think that topic of people having an issue with borders. Just thought maybe we got it by luck. That's video, but of course there are people who are playing this video. Oh. Let us see. In conversation with IFP spokesperson who says IEC could have done better in voting process. Nancy, you will be what, president at home? Wow. Okay, that's funny. The EFF is doing well or did well. What is this anxiety about? Come on, watch the drone. They are not even done counting. You think they did well? Okay. Let me not argue with you. It's how you see it, guys. If you can please like the stream. We should be going up. We should be on 400 views. I can't even tweet out my link because that computer is off. Anyway, let us continue. The MK party is really sitting nicely because they are doing interview. Remember, Jacob Zuma on Sunday will be at the election center. Ramaphosa on Sunday will be on the at the election center. Julius Malema would be at the election center. Everyone will be at the election center on Sunday. Strategies are going to happen. If you are not a good negotiator, it's over. And what we have been told about Zuma is that you can say a lot about him, but negotiating is one thing he's good at. Don't be surprised when he says, Ramaphosa, we want to take this country and put Mogoeng there. So which parties the ANC likely to get into coalition with? Tanaka, it depends where you are referring in terms of this, because nationally, absolutely no one. Nationally, the opportunity, if not now, then never. Nationally, if they don't go above 45%, no one is at the corner of the ANC unless the DA sell everyone out and decide, I'll take national. But remember, if they say they're going to sell everyone out, they will lose provincial, some places where they should be doing coalition, unless they decide we are working with the ANC on each and every province that we can. Just a second, guys. So this is national, 38.84%. I can't keep record, but Were we on 38 before, or was it 37? I think we made some. No, it's something happened. Seems like there is a change here because I'm not sure if that is where we were before. In case we were, not, then they are having some good progress. Herman Mashaba was failed by his Senate and the elected councillors. Not sure about that. Anyway, let us go forward. Did they fail him? Like I think they failed as a collective. Oh, it was 37, Patrick. Oh, then we are going forward. Before maybe let's come back to national after we just checked provinces, because if it was 37, it means we can still go and check what other places are doing in terms of provinces. Let me see. Let's start with provincial. We start with Eastern Cape. The progress they made so far is, there's progress 40.98 with 66, and EFF or DA on 12.84, and the EFF on 9.44 at number 3 for UDM and Patriotic Alliance. So Zuma of Nkandla is still on 7,000. A very good leap from 0 to 7,000. That is the Eastern Cape. That is the province where the ANC is comfortably leading, and no one is going to change their position. And we go to Free State, which is also under the ANC. 53% is comfortable. They are comfortable there by 53%. And the DA going at 21, and EFF third on 13th percent. And when you look at it, you have VF and MK at 9,000. Then we check provinces like the Free State. No, the Free State to Gauteng. This is where the music is playing non-stop. Gauteng, the province where the ANC will be sorry for not promising the people of South Africa more, the people of Gauteng more, because they're about to lose Gauteng with 23%. I believe when we wake up, a majority of provinces and national, they will be over 50%. Some will be done. So 33% for ANC as compared to the 30% of the DA, with the EFF edging closer with their 11%, and along comes the men of Nkandla, 9% with 67,000 votes. A very good lead for the top 4, and that's where the ANC will easily lose the province, because the relationship of DA, EFF, and MK party should come into place, unless the DA says, I remain with Congolos. That is where every plan would be a disaster for everyone. KZN, so far, they were on 18%. They're still there. It means like they are really working slow on this province so that it can become a shocker for many. Because how are they still on 18%? It's big, but no, they're working slow. They're deliberately doing it. It's going to be a surprise province, this one, when Zuma gets a lot of votes and ANC declines nationally. And Mpumalanga, there you have it, ANC sitting there they are sitting at 49, or they are edging closer to 50. It wasn't like this, but they are coming to 50. So they should pray the other 3 that the ANC at least loses in Mpumalanga. But you see it, who would have thought? I know we spoke about EFF having lost votes, but who would have really thought the MK would come and steal some votes in Mpumalanga and go as far as 18% of all the provinces? This is not the one that I would have thought the changes would be made. Anyway, that's MK, and the DA is on 12%. And another province is the Northern Cape, sitting at 86. It hasn't changed also because it's staying at 47.67 with just a few votes to go. If Ace Makashula had aggressive campaign in this home province of Free State, ACT party could have easily gotten a plus 10%. I remember they still love ANC there by the Free State, so it cannot be easy, my brother. And Limpopo, I'm sure, no, snail pace, they're still 18%. So Limpopo and KZN are competing because they're saying if KZN is deliberately going slow to surprise us, let us go slow also, because the votes of the ANC in Limpopo will try and patch those holes that will be left by MK party in KZN. And that is Northwest with 25.49, and EFF on 17 and 9% the DA. And as we go, the Western Cape that we've seen on 52%. I'm sure you guys can even hear by the voice that the battery is flat. I've been on the live for 9 hours today since this morning, and as much as I can go, the batteries are flat. I think we are not going to go over how we've already done. I think it's over 2 hours now. So what's going to happen, guys, would be to thank you guys for tuning into the channel. As I've said before many times, that the channel should be doing well, having a lot of people watching. Unfortunately, there were unforeseen circumstances which could have been avoided, and they were not on our side. But someone outside came out with some problems that affected our channel. But anyway, until the issues are sorted, we will keep trying to come back as we normally do. But then, thank you for tuning in. The best thing is that normally it doesn't get recommended until the issues are resolved. It doesn't get recommended on your home pages. What you do is to just click that notification bell, so that each and every time there's a video, even if you don't want to watch it, maybe there would be video you want to watch, or if there's a live stream, you can be able to be notified. But again, we'll be here tomorrow to live stream and do what we've been doing. I wonder, why are you disrespecting Zuma? I'm not sure what you're speaking about. Maybe you just came in. It's fine though. We are not disrespecting anyone. We just commenting on what's going on nationally. So guys, in a nutshell, I'm going to have a sleep. We're going to continue tomorrow. It must be really interesting to be seeing 50% of the votes. So you guys must have a blessed night, and until we meet tomorrow. And thank you for always tuning into daily updates. I'm sure many of you is the first time you see the face, because it was just a faceless voice. But I mean, elections made the rarest animal come out of the holes. So we are all out. Until next time, guys.